Improvement of food resource. We know that all living organisms need food. Food supplies protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. All of these, we require for body development, growth, and health. Both plants and animals are major source of food for us. We obtain most of this food from agriculture and animal husbandry. We read in newspaper that are always being made to improve production of agriculture and animal husbandry. Why is this necessary? Why we can make a do with current levels of production? In India is a various populous country. Our population we will soon need more than a quarter of billion tons of grain every year. This can be done by farming on more land, but India is already intensively cultivated. As a result, we do not have a major scope of increasing the area of land under cultivation. Therefore, it is necessary to increase our production efficiency for both crops and livestock. Efforts to meet the food demand by increasing food production have led to some success so far. We have had the green revolution, which contributes to increase food grains production. We have also the white revolution, which has led to better, more efficient use as well as availability of milk. However, this revolution means that our natural resources are getting used more intensively. As a result, there are more chances of causing damage to our natural resource. To to the point of destroying their balance completely. Therefore, it is important that we should increase food production without degrading the environment and distribution of balance and maintaining it. Hence, there is a need of sustainable practices in agriculture and animal husbandry. Also, simply increases grain production of storage in warehouses cannot solve the problem of malnutrition and hunger. People should have money to purchase food. Food security depends on the both availability of food and access to it. The majority of our population depend on agriculture for their livelihood. Increasing the income of people working in agriculture is therefore necessary to combat the problem of hunger. Scientific management practices should be undertaken to obtain high yields from farms. For sustained livelihood, one should undertake mixed farming, intercropping, and integrated farming practices. For example, combine agriculture with livestock, poultry, fisheries, beekeeping. The question thus becomes, how do we increase the yields of crops and livestock? Improvement in crop yield. Cereals such as wheat, rice, maize, millets, sorghum provide us carbohydrates for energy requirement. Pulses like gram, chenna pea, black gram, green gram, pigeon pea, lentil provide us protein, and oil seeds including soya beans, groundnut, sesame, castor, mustard, linseeds, or sunflower provide us the necessary of fats. Vegetables, spices, and fruits provide range of vitamins and minerals in addition to small amount of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. In addition to these food crops, fodder crops like Versim, oats, and sudden grass are raised as food for livestock. Different crops require different climate condition, temperature, and photo period for their growth and completion of their life cycle. Photo period are related to duration of sunlight, growth of plants, and flowering are dependent on sunlight. As we all know, the plant manufacture their food sunlight by processing of photosynthesis. There are some crops which are grown in rainy season called Kharif season from the month of June to October, and some of crops are grown in the winter season called Rabi season from November to April. Paddy, soybean, pigeon pea, maize, cotton, green gram, and black gram are Kharif crops, whereas the wheat gram, peas, mustard, lenses, and are Rabi crops. In India, there has been a four times increase the production of food grains from 1952 to 2010, with only 25% increase in the cultivatable land area. How has this increase in production been achieved? If we think the practices involved in farming, we can see that we can divide it into three stages. The first is the choice of seeds for planting. The second is the nurturing of croplands. The third is the production of growing and harvested crops for loss. From loss, thus, the major group of activities for improving crop yields can be classified as crop variety improvement, crop production improvement, crop protecting management. Crop variety improvement. This approach depends on finding a crop variety that can give a good yield. Varieties of strains of crop can be selected by breeding for various useful characteristics such as diseases resistance, response to fertilizer, product quality and high yield. One way in incorporating desirable characters into crop varieties is by hybridization. Hybridization refers to crossing between genetically dissimilar plants. This crossing may be intervarietal between two different varieties, interspecific between two different species of the same genus, of intergenic between two different genera. Another way the improving crop is by introducing of gene that would provide desired characteristics. This result in genetically modified crop. For new variety of crop to be accepted, it is necessary that variety of produces high yields under different conditions that are found in different areas. Farmers would need to be provided with good quality seed of particular variety. That is, the seeds should all be of same variety, germinate under the same condition. Cultivation practices and crop yield are related to weather, soil quality and availability of water. Since the weather conditions such as drought and flood situations are unpredictable, variety of that can be grown in diverse climatic conditions are useful. Similarly, varieties tolerant to high soil salinity have been developed. Some of the factors for which variety improvement is done are higher yield to increase the productive of crop per acre, improved quality, quality consideration of crop products vary from crop to crop. Baking quality is important in wheat, protein quality in pulses, oil quality in oil seeds, and preserving quality in fruits and vegetables. Biotic and abiotic resistance. Crop production can go down due to abiotic and biotic stresses under the different situation. Varieties resistance to this stress and can improve crop production. Change in maturity duration. The shorter the duration of crop from sowing to harvesting, the more economically is variety. Such short duration allow farmers to grow multiple around the crop in a year. Short duration also reduce the cost of crop production. Uniform maturity makes the harvesting process easy and reduces loss during harvesting. Wider adaptability. Developing varieties for wider adaptability will help in stabilizing and crop production under different environment conditions. One variety can then be grown under different climatic conditions in different areas. Desirable agronomic characters, tallness, profuse branching, or desirable characters for fodder crops. Daufurness is desired in cereals so that less nutrients are consumed by these crops. Thus, developing variety of desired agronomic characters help give higher productive. How do biotic and biotic factors affect crop production? What are the desirable organic characters for the crop movement? Crop production management in India, as in many other agriculture based countries, farming range from small to very large farm. Different farmers thus have more or less land, money and access to information and technologies. In short, it is many money or financial conditions that allow farmer to take up different farming practices and agricultural technologies. There is a correlation between higher inputs and yields. Thus, the farmer purchasing capacity of inputs decide cropping system and production practices. Therefore, production practices can be at different level. They include no cost production, low cost production and high cost production practices. Nutrients management. Just as we need food for development, growth, and well being, plants also require nutrients for growth. Nutrients are supplied to plants by air, water, and soil. There are several nutrients which are essential for plants. Air supplies carbon and oxygen. Hydrogens come from water, and soil supplies the other 13 nutrients to plants. Amongst these, some are required in a large quantity and therefore are called macronutrients. The other nutrients are used by plants in small quantities and therefore they are called micronutrients. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium are macro, micro iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum chloride are micronutrients. Air, carbon, oxygen, white, hydrogen, oxygen, water. Deficiency of these nutrients affect psychological, physiological process of plants including reproduction, growth and susceptibility to diseases. To increase the yield, the soil can be enriched by supplying these nutrients in the form of manure and fertilizer. What are macronutrients and why are they called macronutrients? How do plants get nutrients? Manure. Manure contains large quantity of organic matter and also supply small quantity of nutrients to the soil. Manure is prepared by the decomposition of animal excrete and plant waste. Manure help in enriching soil with nutrients and organic matter and increases soil fertility. The bulk of organic matter in manure helped in improving the soil structure. It involves increasing the water holding capacity in sandy soils. The clayey soils, a large quantity of organic matter help in drainage and in avoiding water logging. In using manure or use biological waste material, which is advantageous in protecting our environment from excessive use of fertilizer. Using biological waste material is also a way of recycling farm waste. Based on the kind of biological material used, manure can be classified as compost and vermicompost. The process in which farm and waste material like livestock excrete, vegetable waste, animals refuse, domestic waste, sewage waste, straws, eradicated weeds, etc. is decomposed in pits is known as composting. The compost is rich in organic matter and nutrients. Compost is also prepared by using earthworm to hasten the process of decomposition of plants and animals' refuse. This is called vermicompost. Green manure. Prior to the sowing of crop seeds, some plants like sun hemp or gar are grown and then mulched by plowing them into the soil. These green plants thus turn into green manure which helps to enriching the soil in nitrogen, phosphorus. Fertilizer or commercially product plants nutrients. Fertilizers supply nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. They are used to ensure good vegetation growth, leaves, branches and flowers, giving rise to healthy plants. Fertilizers are factors in the higher yield of high cost farming. Fertilizers should apply carefully terms of proper dose time observing pre and post applications precaution for the complete utilization. For example, sometimes fertilizer get washed away due to excess irrigation and are not fully absorbed by the plants. This excess fertilizer then lead to water pollution. Also, as we have seen in the previous chapter, continuous can use fertilizer in an area and can destroy soil fertility because organic matter in soil is not replenished and microorganisms in the soil are harmed by fertilizer use. Short term benefit of using fertilizer and long term benefit of using manure for maintaining soil fertility have to be considered aiming of optimum yields in crop production. Compare the use of manure and fertilizer maintaining soil fertility. Organic farming is farming system with minimum or no use of chemical as fertilizer, hybridicide, pesticides, etc. and with the maximum inputs of organic matter, recycled farming waste, use of bioagents such as culture of blue-green algae in preparation of biofertilizer, neem leaves or turmeric specifically in grain storage as biopesticides with health cropping system. Mixed cropping, intercropping, and crop rotating discussed below 12.1.2. This cropping system are beneficial in insect pest weed control besides providing nutrients. Irrigation. Most agriculture in India rain fed, that is the success of crop is most areas is dependent on timely monsoon and sufficient rainfall spread through the most of the growing seasons. Hence poor monsoon cause crop failure. Ensure that the crops get wet at right stage during their growing season can increase the accepted yield of any crop. Therefore, the many measures are used to bring more and more agricultural land under irrigation. Drought occur because scarcity of regular distribution of rains. Drought process 3 to rain-fed farming areas. Their farmers do not use irrigation for crop production and depends only on rain. Light soil have less water retention capacity. In areas with light soil, crops get adversely affected by drought conditions. Scientific have developed some crop variety which can tolerate drought condition. In India has a wide variety of water resource and highly varied climate. Under such conditions, several different kind of irrigation system are adopted to supply water to agriculture land depending on the kind of water resource available. These include wells, canals, rivers and tanks. Wells. There are two types of wells, namely dug wells and tube wells. In a dug wells, water is collected from water bearing strata. Tube wells can tap water from the deeper strata. From these wells, water is lifted by pumps for irrigation. Canals. This is usually an elaborated and extensive irrigation system. In this system, canals receive water from one or more reservoirs or from rivers. The main canals is divided into branch canals have further distributaries to irrigate fields. River lift system. In area where canals flow insufficient or irregular due to inadvocated reservoir release, the lift off system is more irrational. Water is directly drawn from the river from supplementing irrigation in area close to river. Tanks. These are all small storage reservoirs which intercept and store runoff of smaller catchments area. Fresh initiatives for increasing the water available for agriculture includes rainwater harvesting and watersheds management. This involves building small check dams with lead to an increase in groundwater level. The check dams stop to rainwater from flowing away and also reduce soil erosion. Cropping pattern. Different ways of growing crop can be used to give maximum benefit. Mixed cropping is growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same piece of land, for example, wheat gram or wheat mustard or groundnut sunflower. This reduces risk and gives some insurance against failure of one of the crop. Intercropping is growing two more crops simultaneously on the same field is definite pattern. A few rows of one crop alternate with a few rows of second crop. For example, soya beans, maize, finger, millet, cowpea. The crops are selected such as their nutrients requirement are different. This ensures maximum utilization of the nutrients supplied and also prevent pests and diseases from spreading to all the plants belonging to one crop in field. This way, the both crops can give better return. The growth of different crops on a piece of land, pre-plant succession, is known as crop rotation. Depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done different crop combinations. Availability of moisture and irrigation facility decided the choice of crop to be cultivated after one harvest. If crop rotate is done properly, then 2 or 3 crops can be grown in a year with good harvest. Crop protection management. Field crops are infested by a large number of weeds, insects, pests, and diseases. If the weeds of pests are not controlled the appropriate time when they are damage the crop so much that most the crops is lost. Weeds are unwanted plants in the cultivated field. For example, Xanthium gocro, Panthonium jajragash, Cypanium Rotodus motha. They complete compete the food, space and light. Weeds take up nutrients and reduce the growth of crop. Therefore, removal of weeds from cultivated fields during the early stage of crops growing is essential for good harvest. Generally, insect pests attack the plants 3 ways. They cut the root, stem, leaves. They suck the cells sap from various parts of the plants and they bore into the stem and fruits. They thus affect the health of crops and reduce yield. Diseases in plants caused by pathogens and bacteria, fungi and virus. These pathogens can be present in the transmitted through the soil, water and air. Weeds, insects and diseases can be controlled by various methods on the one of the most common used method is the use of pesticides which include herbicides, insecticides and fungicides. These chemicals are sprayed on crop plants or used for treating seeds and soil. However, excessive use of these chemicals creates problem since they can be poisonous to many plants and animal species and cause environment pollution. Weed control method also include mechanical removal, preventive methods such as proper seed, bed preparation, timely sowing the crops, intercropping and crop rotation also help in weed control. Some other preventive measures against pests are used for resistant varieties and summer plowing in which fields are plowed deep in summer to destroy weeds and pests. Which of the following condition will give most benefits? Why farmers use high quality seeds do not adopt irrigation, use fertilizer. Farmer use ordinary seeds, adopt irrigation and use fertilizer. Farmer use quality seeds, adopt irrigation, use fertilizer and use crop protection measure. Nutritional values in animal production. Milk 3.60, protein 4, sugar 4.50, minerals 0.70, water 87.20, vitamin B1, B2, B12, D, E, egg, fat 12, protein 13, sugar less, minerals 1, water 74.00, B2D, meat 3.60, protein 21.10, minerals 1.10, water 74.20, B2, B12, fish 2.25, protein 19.00, minerals 1.30, water 77.20, niacin D and A. Present very small amount. Activity 12.1. Visit nearby garden agriculture field. Make a list of weeds and the flower crop found in the area. Also make the list of insects, pests, any investigation of the flower. Storage of grains. Storage losses in agriculture produce can be very high. Factors responsible for such losses of are abiotic insects, rodent, fungi, mites, and called bacteria and abiotic. Inappropriate moisture and temperature is place of storage. These factors cause degradation in quality, loss in weight, poor germinability, discoloration of produce, all leading to poor marketability. These factors can be controlled by proper treatment and by systematic management of warehouses. Preventive and control measures are used before grains and stored for future use. They include strict cleaning of the produce before storage, proper drying of produce first in sunlight and then in shade, and fumigation. Use chemicals and that can kill pests. Collect grain seeds of cereals, pulses, and oil seeds. Gather information about the season in which they are sown in harvest. Animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is scientific management of animal livestock. It includes various aspects such as feeding, breeding, and diseases control. Animals based farming include cattle, goats, sheep, poultry, and fish farming. As the pollution increases, as living standard increases, the demand for this milk, eggs, and meat is also going up. Also, the growing awareness of the need for human treatment of livestock has got in the new limitation is in livestock farming. Thus, livestock provision also need to be improved. Cattle farming. Cattle husbandry is done for two purpose milk, drought labor or agriculture work such as tilling, irrigation and carting. India cattle belong to different species. Bos indicus cow and Bos bubalus. Bubalish. Buffalo's milk production females are called milch animal, dairy animal, while the one of the farm labor are called draught animals. Milk production depends to some extent on the duration of location period, meaning the period of milk production after the birth of calf. So milk production can be increased by increasing of lactation period. Exotic and foreign breeds are selected for long location periods while local breeds shows extent resistance to diseases. The two can be crossbreed to get animal with both the desired quality. Proper cleaning and shelter facility for cow and buffalo required for human farming for health of the animals and production of clean milk as well. Animal require regular brushing to remove dirt and loss of hair. The, they should be sheltered under the well ventilated roofed shed that protected them from rain, heat, and cold. The floor of the cattle shed needs to be sloping so as they stay dry and so facilitated cleaning. The food requirement of dairy farm are two types: maintenance requirement, which is food required support of the animals to live healthy life, and milk production requirement, which is type of food required during lactation period. Animal feed includes roughage, which is largely fiber, and concentrate, which are low fiber and contain relatively high level of protein and other nutrients. Cattle need balanced rotation, contain all nutrients in proportionated amount, besides such as nutritious food material, certain feed additive containing micronutrients promotes the health and milk output the dairy in animals. Cattle suffer from number of diseases. The diseases beside causing death reduce milk production. A health animal feed regular has a normal posture. The parasites in cattle may be both external parasites, internal parasites. External parasites live on the skin, mainly cause skin diseases. The internal parasite like worm affects stomach and intensive while Fluke damage the liver. Infectious diseases are also caused by bacteria and viruses. Vaccination are given to farm animals against many major viral bacteria diseases. Poultry farming is undertaken to raise a domestic flow of egg production and chicken meat. Therefore, improve of poultry breed and are developed and farmed to produce layer of eggs and broiler of meat. The crossbreeding programs between India, for example, a foreign breed of variety improvement are focused on developed new variety of the following desirable traits: number of quality of chicks, drafts boilers, parent and commercial chick production, summer adaptation capacity tolerance, high temperature, low maintenance requirement, reduction in the size of egg laying bird with ability to utilize more fibrous, cheaper diet formulated using agriculture byproduct. Eggs and boilers. Boiler chicken are fed the vitamin rich supplementary feed for good growth rate and better feed efficiency. Care and take avoid mortalite and to maintain feathers and carcass quality. They are produced as boilers and sent to market for meat purpose. For good production of quality boat, good maintenance management practices are important. The include of maintenance of temperature and hygienic condition in housing and poultry feed as well as prevention and control of diseases and pests. The housing, nutritional and environment requirement of boiler and somewhat different from those of eggs layer. The rotation for boiler is protein which with advocate fat. The level of vitamin A and K is kept high in the poultry feed. Poultry flows suffer from number of diseases caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, parasite as well as from nutritional deficiency. This necessitate proper cleaning, sanitation and spraying of disinfectant at regular intervals. Appropriate vaccination. Vaccination can prevent occurrence of infectious diseases and reduce the loss of poultry during an outbreak of diseases. Visit a local poultry farm, observe type of breed and note the type of ration, housing and lightening facilities given to them. Identify the growers, layers and boilers. Fish production. Fish is a cheap source of animal protein from our food. Fish production includes the fine true fish as well as shellfish such as prawns and mollusks. There are two ways of obtaining fish. One is the farm natural resource which is called capture fishing. The other way is by fishing farming which is called culture fishery. The water source of fisher can be either seawater or fresh water such as in rivers and ponds. Fishing can be thus be done both the capture and culture of fish in marine and freshwater ecosystem. Marine fisheries. India marine fishery resource includes 7500 kilometers of coastal line and deep seas. Beyond it, poultry marine fish variety includes fromfet, mackerel, tuna, sardines, and Bombay ducks. Marine fish are caught using many kind of fish nets from the fishing boats. Yields and increase by locating large schools of fish in the open sea using satellites and echo sounder. Some marine fish of a high economic value are also farmed in seawater. This includes fine fish like mullets, wetki and barrel sports shellfish such as prawns, mussels and oysters as well as seawards. Oysters also cultivated for pearl they make. As marine fish stocks get further duplicated, the demand of more fish can only be met by such culture fisheries. A practice is called mariculture. Island fisheries. A fisher waters resource include canals, ponds, reservoirs, and rivers. Brackish water resource where seawater and fresh water mix together, such as estuaries and lagoon, are also important fish reservoir. While capture fish is also done in such island water bodies, the yield is not high. Most fishes production from these resources is through aquaculture. This culture is sometimes done in combination with a rich crop so that the fish are grown in the water in the paddy field. More intensive fish farming can be done in composite fish culture system. Both local and imported fish species are used in such system. In such system, a combination of 5-6 fish species is used to single fish pond. The species are selected so that they do not compete food among them having different types of food habits. As a result, the food available in all the parts of pond is used as cutlas or surface feeders. Rohus feed in middle zone on the pond. Mirgals and common crabs are bottom feeders and grass crabs feed on the weeds. Together, these species can use all the food in the pond without competing with each other. This increases this fish yield from the pond. One problem with such composite fish culture is that many of these fish breed only during monsoon. Even if the fish seed is collected from the wild, it can be mixed with the other species as well. So, a major problem in fish farming is lack of availability of good quality seed. To overcome this problem, a way have now been worked to outbreed this fish in pond using hormonal stimulation. This has ensured supply of pure fish seed in desired quantities. Beekeeping. Honey is widely used for therefore beekeeping for making honey became agriculture enterprises. Since beekeeping needs low investment, farming use at additional income generating activity. In addition, to honey, the beehive are a source of wax which is used in various medicinal preparation. The local variety of bee used for commercial honey production, Apis carina indica, commonly known as Indian bee, Dosta the rock bee, and Flore the little bee. The Italian bee variety Mellifera has also been brought in to increase yield of honey. This is variety commonly used for commercial honey production. The Italian beehive have a high honey collection capacity. They sting somewhat less. They stay in given beehive for a long period and breed very well. For commercial honey production, bee farming on apiaries are established. The value or quality of honey depends upon the pasturage or the flower available to bee for nectar and pollen collection. In addition to advocate quantity of pasturage, the kind of flowers available will determine the taste of honey. What you have learned. There are several nutrients essential for crops of this sum require large quantity are known as macronutrients, whereas rest nutrients are required small quantities are known as micro. Manure fertilizer main source of nutrients applied to crops. Organic farming is a farming system with minimal or no use of chemical as fertilizer, herbicides, pesticides, etc. and with maximum input of organic manure, recycled farming waste and bioagents with the health crop system. Mixed farming is a system of farming on particular farm which includes crop production, raising and livestock, etc. Mixed cropping is growing two or more crops simultaneously and same piece of land. Growing two or more crop different row plants is known as intercropping. Growing of different crops on the piece of land, tree plant succession is called crop rotation. Variety of improvement is required for a higher yield, good quality, biotic and abiotic resistance, shortening and maturity duration, wider adaptability, and desirable ergonomic characteristics. Farming animals require proper care and management such as shelter, feeding, breeding, and diseases control. This is called animal husbandry. Poultry farming is done to raise domestic flow. Poultry for production includes egg production and broiler production for poultry meat. To hence poultry production, crossbreeding is done between India and exotic breeds for variety improvements. Fish may be obtained from marine resource as well as inland resource. To increase production of fish, they can culture marine and island ecosystem. Marine fish capture is done by fishing nets, guided by ecosystem sound and satellites. Composite fish culture system is commonly used fish farming. Beekeeping is done to get honey and wax.